guys, welcome to the third part of our project. And in this third part, we're going to build another two cards, and they are going to be the recent transaction card and the project review card. In the recent transaction card, we're going to have the user image, the username, and the transaction type. And right here at the right side, we are going to have the transaction amount and the transaction rate, whether it was successful or not. And in this project review card, we're going to have total revenue as one of the review. We're going to have new employees, project progress, and total expenses. Here we are going to have the review amount. We're going to have our icon at the right side and also the review rate, whether we have enough progress for the month or lesser progress. So let's go ahead and get started. Don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really means towards me. So firstly, what we're going to create here is a div, and this div is going to have a class, and the class here is going to be order half, just like we had in the previous video. And next we're going to have a span. The span here is going to have two elements inside it. They are going to be our head text that says recent transaction and projects where development work is on completion. So let's create our history tag. It's going to have a class here, and the class is going to be card head text. And inside here we're going to have our text that says recent transaction. Then next we're going to create our paragraph tag, and the class is going to be, let's give the class here is going to be card description. Then the text in here is going to be our project where development meets, what we had here was work not meet, project where development work is on completion. So we're going to have work is on completion. That's correct. So next we're going to create the cards. We're going to create a div, and the class is going to be transaction. Change this to a lowercase. The T should be a lowercase. And inside our transaction, we're going to have our user image. The image is going to have a class, and the class is going to be transaction img, which is transaction image. I'm going to use an image I already have. So I'm just going to type in image / user1. That's the image I already have. And for the alternative, just type in user img. So next, after our user image, we're going to create a div, and the div is going to have a class. The class here is going to be transaction details. Then right inside of transaction details, we're going to have a span, and the span is going to have a class. We don't need a class for this. We already have, for the span, let's see what we have right here. We have our username, the transaction type here, so we don't need a class to style it. We need the elements right inside it. So for the elements are going to be a tag, a history tag. It's going to have a class. The class here is going to be transaction name, and the name in here is going to be our first name, Sarah. So let's type in Sarah. So next we're going to have our paragraph tag. The class here is going to be transaction type, and the text is going to be app improvement. So next, let's see what we have. We have the amount and the progress rate. So to create that, we need another div right down here, and it's going to have a class. The class here is going to be progress container, and inside our progress container, we're going to have a span. The span here have a class, and the class is going to be written amount. So right in here, we're going to have the rates, which is a text. That's our number, $45.234. So for that one, we just need to type in a history tag here, and in our history tag, we're going to have a class. The class here will be transaction amount, and the amount here is going to be, let's add the dollar sign, and we're going to add $45.234. And after that, we're going to have our icon. Let's see, we have an icon right there. So for the icon, we're going to use an arrow up icon. So just type in the class. We need an icon green first. Icon green. Then we're going to have FAS FA dash arrow up. Let's see if that works. This is our icon right here. It works, but we haven't created the icon green class yet. We're going to add it in our style after we're done with the HTML. So next, we're going to create the date right here that says 12th January 2020. So to create that, we just need a p tag right here, paragraph tag. Give it a class, and the class is going to be transaction date. And right in here, we're going to have 12th of JAN, which is January 2020. And let's see what that looks like. This is it right here. And after that, we're going to add some styles to the transaction itself, transaction class. We're already done with it. All we have to do is style this and duplicate it to get this look. So let's head over to CSS. The first thing we're going to do is type out our transaction class. And in here, we're going to have display flex to set the elements side by side, and we're going to have width. So we're going to set it to 100% to make the card stretch to the full width of the container. And next, we're going to have padding top to add some space at the top of the card. So let's set padding top to 30px. And next, we're going to style the transaction details. But firstly, let me show you guys what our transaction looks like. This is it. This is the display flex. It sets them side by side, and padding top adds some space at the top of the card. So next, we're going to start the transaction details by adding justify content. We're going to have space between, and next we're going to have display flex to set the details side by side, and we're also going to have width 100%. Next, we're going to start the transaction description, and in here we're going to have font size. The font size here is going to be 14px, and the color here is going to be dark. Now let's see what it looks like. This is the description right here. Is that correct? Let's see. Transaction description. This is it. I don't think that class is available. Let's look for it. Just copy this and search for it in your HTML to make sure it's available. It's not available. That's actually wrong. All you have to do is remove this. We don't need it. So let's start the user details. User details. Remove the S. It's actually user detail, not user details. User detail. Let's look for the class. Let's search for it to make sure it's available. Just copy and search for it right here in your HTML with Ctrl F, and it's not available. I just have to remove this. We still don't need this. What you have next is written amount. This one should be available in HTML. Just copy it and search for it. I think we created this one. Yes, it's available. So for the written amount, we are going to have display flex, and we are also going to have align items. It's going to be center. And next, we're going to have padding bottom to add some space below the written amount. And the padding bottom here is going to be 5px, and margin left to push it to the left side is going to be, margin left here is going to be 5px. The next, we're going to have width, and the width is going to be 50%, and the gap here to put some space in between the amounts is going to be 5px. Now let's see what it looks like. As you can see, we are putting some space in between the icon and the dollar right here. So next, we're going to style the progress container. Just type in progress container. Let's make sure this exists. Just copy and search for it right here, and it exists. In the progress container, we need a margin left. So here we're going to have margin left, and it's going to be 32px. Then next, we're going to style our transaction image. It's quite big right now. So just type in dot transaction img, and for transaction image, we're going to have width, and the width is going to be 44px, And next we're going to have height. The height here is also going to be 44 px. Then next we're going to have border radius to make the image look curvy, and the border radius here is going to be 30 px. That will make it look fully rounded, as you can see right down here. So let's see what we have. This is just what we want for the image and the description text. So after that, we're going to style our transaction name, which is the name that says Sarah. So for transaction name, we're also going to type in the class transaction name, and here we're going to have font size. We're going to reduce the font size to make it look smaller. The font size is going to be 14 px, and we're going to set margin left. The margin left here is going to be 5 px, and the margin top is going to be 3 px. Next, let's start the transaction amount. For transaction amount, we need font size, which is going to be 14 px, and margin left is going to be minus 5 px. Next, let's start the transaction type, which is the text right here that says app improvement. So just type in transaction type. For transaction type, we don't need the transaction amount type, we just need transaction type like this. So for transaction type, we need to get down here. For the transaction type, remove this. What we need inside here is font size. We need to reduce the font size to 12 px, and next we're going to need margin left. The margin left here is going to be 5 px. Then after that, we're going to set color to dark gray, which is a variable we already have. Don't forget to import your variables from the link in the description. So next we're going to start the transaction date. Let's type in transaction date. For transaction date, we need font size here, and the font size is going to be 12 px. I would set margin top to minus 5 px to drag it up. This is the date right here. Then after that, I'm going to set the color to our dark gray variable. So just type in color and set it to dark gray. Then after that, we're going to style our icon green, which is the icon for our which is the class for the icons right here. So for the icon green, we just need to type in those icon green, and in here we're going to have our color and font size. So for the color here, we're just going to set it to our green variable color. Set the color to, let's see, we're going to have light green for the color, and next we're going to have our font size, and the font size here is going to be 14 px. Now let's see what it looks like. As you can see, our icon looks quite nice, unlike before. So what we're going to do next is style our remaining icons. If you notice here, we have a red icon, and we also have, that is all we have, red and green icons. So let's style the red icon. All you have to do is copy this and paste it once more, and change the class or icon red. And for the red icon, we just need to change the color to red, 200, which is the color we already have. Change this to 200, and the font size is also going to be 14 px. So next we're going to have records container, and for the records container we need display grid, and we're also going to have down here we're going to have justify content. Let's see what we have right here. I think we're done with the transaction, and what I'm styling now is this project review right here, which we are not supposed to start with yet. So let's just duplicate our transaction before we start the records container. All you have to do is get right here, copy this transaction, copy, and let's see how many of them we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So just paste 4 more of them. So we are going to have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that should do it. As you can see, that is all we want. All we have to do now is change the attributes. So the second one is a different image and our icon. Let's see, let's get up here. This is the first one, and this is the second one. Change the image here to another image, and the icon, let's find icon. It's going to be icon red, and this time we're going to use arrow down. Now let's see what that looks like. As you can see, it's just what we want. So the job is also different, it's web design. I'm just going to copy and paste. So just copy that and paste it right in here. And next we're going to have our third one. The name here says Ryan. Change the name from Sarah to Ryan, and the amount also, which is going to be $35.234. So let's change this to 35. The second and the third one is pretty much the same, so all you have to do is copy this second one, copy this and paste it for the third. Well, let's see, 1 2 3 4 for the fourth and fifth. So this is the fourth one, the fourth one, and the fifth one. So just paste this 2 more times, and that should do it. Now let's change the attributes. The second image, let's see, this is the first one, the second, and the third. So here we're going to have user 3, and the name is going to be Kate. This is going to be Kate, and the job is going to be milestone. Then right in here we're going to have the amount, which is going to be $245.234. So let's paste this in. Then we're going to have the fourth name, which is Jane. This is going to be Jane, and the amount here is $15.234. So let's change this to 15. The third one, let's also change the image. Let's see, here we're going to change the image to user 4, and the third one is going to be Mike. The job here is also different, so copy that, just type it in right here. This is the job, change it to sales executive, and here we're going to have Mike for the last name. The last name here is going to be, change it to Mike, and the job is app improvements. The amount is also different, so just copy and paste this in. You can also change this to $105, and that should do it. The image is also different. Let's use user image 5, and that is all we want for the transactions. Now let's go ahead and create the right side, which is the product reviews. So for the product reviews, what we're going to do, let's see, we're going to have under div for the product reviews. Let's create a div right here. Let's make sure we are outside the other half container. Close this and get right outside it. Create another div, and it's going to have a class. The class here is going to be other. Other half means we want a small card, and other means we want a large card. So inside the other, we are going to have a div, and the div here is going to have a class. The class here is going to be card header. Then right inside it, we're going to have our span tag. It's going to have a h3 tag right inside it. We're going to have h3, and the h3 here is going to have a class. The class is going to be card head text. The text here is going to be project review. Then inside it, we're also going to have another tag, which is going to be a p tag. It's going to have a class, which is going to be card description. Then the text is going to be, let's call it project progress. This is supposed to be a text, not a tag. And next we're going to have the icons right here, the search and filter icon. So let's create another span, and it's going to have our icons right inside it. Create an I tag, give the class, and the class is going to be fa-search. Let's copy and paste this once more and change this to filter, and that should do it. Now let's see what it looks like. As you can see, it begins to look like just what we want. So what we're going to do next is create the section, the cards section. So to create the cards section, we need to get right outside the card header and create a main tag. It's going to have a class, and the class is going to be records container. For the records container, we need some elements right inside it. It's going to be a div. So basically the name of our cards is going to be record this time around, just like we had the last one. The name in the last one was transaction. So for the record, we need a h4 tag. It's going to have a class. The class here is going to be record type, and the text right inside it is going to be total revenue. That is correct. Yes, let's see if that is correct. Total revenue, that is correct. Next, we're going to have our p tag. It says previous month versus this month. So let's add a class here, and the class is going to be record description. And right in here, we're going to have our text that says previous month versus this month. Let's see what it looks like. As you can see, that is just what we want for the record card. So next, we're going to create the amount and the rates. So to create that, we need to get right outside. Let's see. I think we need a h3 tag once more. And for the h3 tag, let's see, it's going to hold this amount right here. So create a h3 tag, h3, and we're going to have a class. The class is going to be, let's call it record amount, and inside it we're going to have our amount. So let's get right outside here to create the remaining elements. Let's see the elements. They are the rate and the icon. So to create them, we need a div down here. It's going to have a class, and the class is going to be record icon container. So for the icon, we're just going to create a span, and the span is going to have a class. The class is going to be record details. Then in here, we're going to have, let's see, we need a p tag, and the p tag here is going to have a class that says icon green. That is the class we've already used for the arrow icons right here. So to make things easier, we're just going to use this once more for this green text that says 55%. So just type in 55% right in here. Then next, we're going to have our p tag that says higher. Give the class, and the class here is going to be, let's call it, let's see what we have here, higher. We don't really need a class for this, but let's just add p estimate rating. Then in here, we're going to have higher. We might choose this class later, but if we don't, we're just going to delete the class. So after that, we're going to create our icon itself. To create the icon, we just need to get outside the span, create an I tag. It's going to have a class. The class here is going to be, let's see, let's give it a class record icon. That is the class we're going to use to style it and change the color and background color. If you notice, it has a different background color and also a different color from other items right here. So next, I'm going to add the icon class, which is going to be fa-user. Let's use chart line instead, not user this time around. I'm going to use chart line. Let's see if that works. If that does not work, there might be a problem. Let's see. I typed in chart instead of chart, so add a T right there, and that should fix it. This is our icon right here. So after that, we're going to create the remaining record cards as we already done with the record card. But first, let's go ahead and style it before we duplicate and change things around. This is all we want for the record card, so let's add some styles. What I'm going to do here is continue with the records container class we've already typed in. So next, we're going to have a justify content. It's going to be center, and the grid template column here for the cards. We are using grid for these 4 cards right in here to make things much more easier. So what I would set it to is repeat auto fit to make it responsive. And I will set min max width to 250 px 1 fr. Then after that, we're going to set gap here to 20 px. And after the gap, we're going to have width, and the width is going to be 100%. We're going to have height, and it's going to be fit content. This means that this record container is going to fit all content and elements inside the records container. So let's go ahead and style the record cards. Just type in .record, that is the class for the cards. And for the .record, we're going to have background color, and the background color here is going to be gray. But actually, you can just use background. So let's set it to gray, which is our variable. Then in here, we're going to have width, and the width is going to be 100%. And the padding to have some space around the card, not around, inside the card. That is what padding does. We're going to set the padding to 20 px, and the height is going to be 172 px. Then border radius to make the card look curvy is going to be 10 px. That's what our card looks like. As you can see, our card is beginning to look like just what we have right here. So next, we're going to style the record type. Just type in .record type, and here we're going to have font size. The font size here is going to be 17 px, and padding bottoms add some space at the bottom of our record type. Content is going to be, padding top bottom here is going to be 5 px, and next we're going to start the record amount, which is this $5,000 right here. So let's type in record amount, and for the record amount, we just need to change the font size and the space. This is going to be amount. So here we're going to set the font size to 17 px, and the padding bottom is going to be 5 px. The next we're going to style, this is not right, we're using the styles for this one. What we are supposed to have here is, for the font size here, it's supposed to be 16 px, and the padding bottom here is going to be 20 px. This is supposed to be 20. Now let's see what it looks like. This is just what we want. Next, we're going to start the record description, which is the description here that says higher. So just type in those record description. So for the description, we just need to set font size to 14 px to make it smaller, and font weight to 400 to make the text look lighter. And next, we're going to set the color to dark gray. And we also need padding bottom for the description. The padding bottom here is going to be 8 px, and margin top is going to be -7 px to drag the description upwards. So next, we're going to start the record icon container. So we're going to have record icon container. So for record icon container, we just need to position relative, because we're going to be using position absolute for the icon, and height here is going to be 100% to contain all elements inside the record icon container. So next, we're going to start the record details. Here we're going to have record details. In here, we're going to have display, flex, and next we're going to have align items is going to be center. I've already explained what these two things does. They basically do the same thing, but this can't work without display flex. So what we need to do is set display flex to set both of them side by side, and add align item center to make sure that happens, because sometimes they are not actually side by side. As you can see, if you look closely right here, they are not side by side, but once we bring align item center back, it sets them side by side exactly. So next, let's go ahead and continue with the record details. For the record details, we need to set font size to 13 px, and next we're going to have gap here, and the gap is going to be 5 px. And after that, we need to set color. This is going to be color, not columns, color, and the color here is going to be dark. Then after that, we need to set our record icon. We're going to start the record icon right now. Let's see what we have right here. So this is what it's looking like for now. We're almost done. Let's start the record icon. It's the last thing we have for this card. So for the record icon, we'll set our display here to flex, and align items is going to be center. Then after that, we're going to set justify content to center, and font size is going to be 22 px. Then after that, we're going to set position to absolute, so we can be able to manipulate the direction of our icon. Then we're going to set right to 0 to push it to the right side of the card, and top is also going to be 0. Let's use px. Let's not just use 0. This is going to be px, and here we're going to have px. Next, we're going to set color. Let's style the color. The icon, the color here is going to be blue 200, which is a variable we already have, and background here is going to be light. It's supposed to be a variable, not just light. Set it to light. Then we're going to set the padding of our icon to add some space inside the icon container. So the padding here is going to be 10 px, and the mean width of our icon is going to be 50 px. Then next we're going to set border radius to make it look curvy, and the border radius is going to be 10 px. And this is what our icon should look like. As you can see, this now look exactly like what we have right here in the example. We just have to copy and paste this 3 more times to achieve this look. So let's copy and paste. This is what we want right here. Copy this record. Make sure it's only the record you're copying. Copy the record and paste it 3 more times, and that should do it. As you can see, this is just what we have right here, and this is what we've already created. All we have to do now is change the elements, like the percentage and the icon, and also the review type. So the second review type here is new employees. I'm just going to copy and paste. Let's find the second one. This is the second one. This is it right here. So let's change this to new employees. Let's make sure that is correct. As you can see, it's correct. Now we are going to change the description. This is going to become, let's add this, is going to become employees joined this month, and the amount here is going to be 15. This is going to be 15. And next we're going to have 5% increase. Let's copy this and paste it in. This is going to be increased, and here we're going to change this 5%. We're also going to change the icon. So for the new icon, we need fa-user. Then after that, we're going to change the third one. Let's get down here to the third one. I have to do expenses for the third one. So let's change revenue here to expenses, and the description is going to be the same. The amount here is going to become 15,000, and here we're going to have 25% decrease. So this is going to become 25%, and here we're going to have decrease. Then we're going to change the icon. Let's see, change this icon to $. This is going to be $. Let's see if that works. It works, as you can see. So let's go ahead and change the last one. Actually, we need to change this icon here to icon red. This is going to be icon red, and let's see, here we're going to change this 85% for the last one. This is going to be 85%. The text is going to be project progress. So let's change this to project progress, and the description is the same, the amount is the same, but we need to change this. I think we have a problem right here. This is supposed to be a different icon. It's supposed to be, let's change it to chart pie. It's supposed to be a different icon, not the $sign. It's supposed to be this, and that is just what we want. As you can see, we now have exactly what we wanted right here, and that brings us to the end of the project. If you really enjoyed this project, don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you have any question, don't hesitate to ask in the comment section below. See you guys in the next part of our project. Goodbye.